Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. One of my favorite days of the week. Well, any day that ends in Y. But I love Wednesdays because it's a Hero for Kids Wednesdays. I'm with my dear friend John Kalish. John is the CEO, founder, executive director, all those wonderful titles for a Hero for Kids, and he'll talk about that in a minute. And as our guest today to talk about the Gala and a Hero for Kids, and of course introduce himself, is my other friend, Tony Busby, with Great Florida Lake Nona. He's an insurance pro. We're going to get a little insight on what's going on in our crazy world in Florida, in addition to him sharing all of the great things that he does in the community. Welcome, gentlemen. How are you this morning?
Doing well.
Afternoon.
Doing well, Ted. Thank you.
Very well.
It feels like the morning still to me, so I got to turn the clock ahead. So we love to do these shows. I love everything about a Hero for Kids. I love the community involvement. I don't like the sirens going on in my background, but hopefully they're on the way to rescue someone. But a Hero for Kids is such an amazing organization. John and his team do a phenomenal job. So, John, I'll let you kick it off. Tell us a little bit about you and about a Hero for Kids, and then you can introduce Tony for us.
Awesome. Thank you, Ted. Wednesday has actually become my favorite day of the week. You know, people call it hump day, midweek, whatever you want to call it. But I know when I get up in the morning that at 1 o'clock, I'm gonna be with Ted and then some fabulous guests. And Ted, of course, is our 2019 Lifetime Achievement Award winner for everything that he has done and continues to do with our community, with the various organizations that he supports. We love you, Ted. The community loves you. You do amazing work. You're one of the unsung heroes, as we say. But like Ted said, I am president, founder, CEO, and chief bottle washer at a Hero for Kids. We are an all-volunteer 501c3. We're a public charity. We file 990Ns every year, and we're just out there trying to help the community and do the right thing. That's what's important to us: children, families, veterans, and first responders.
And you get to dress up, You're never going to see John Kalish and Batman in the same room. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I was at a grand opening for the Wise Prantner Group on Monday, and I get back there and they say, "Hey, Batman was just here," and I'm like, every time I show up someplace, Batman has just left. So
I love it. I love what you do. I appreciate you guys so much, and we have another do-gooder. Introduce Tony for us, John.
So our guest today, fellow veteran, Army veteran, thank goodness, Tony Busby, who is Great Florida Lake Nona. I mean, that's what we know Tony as. Tony is an insurance expert. He's also a member of the A Hero for Kids board. Tony does a ton for the community also. So without further ado, no music in the background. I don't hear any more sirens. Mr. Tony Busby.
Hello, Tony. Welcome. How you doing?
Thank you so much.
So happy
I
to
appreciate
have you here.
It's an honor to be on your show, Ted. Thank you so much for the invitation. A little bit about my background is I grew up in Western Massachusetts, joined the Army at 17 years old. Went to combat in 2004, was involved in the Siege of Fallujah, came back the end of 2005, and got into trucking, got sick of that, decided to get into insurance with my wife, met John at the gym through a person that we both knew. And then John and I started talking as fellow veterans. We hit it off when I found out what a Hero for Kids does and focuses on children's literacy. It really grabbed me because not a lot of people know it, but they will after now. I couldn't read till I was in the 6th or 7th grade. Back when I was in school, it was one of those things that they would just shove you through. And they turned around and kept doing it until finally a teacher recognized that I was having a very, very hard time reading. And they put me in a special education class for reading It's when they brought phonographics back into the classrooms, because phonics was the premier way to teach kids. And then they went to the whole memory thing where if you heard or said or wrote a word 7 times, you were supposed to be able to remember it. And I couldn't. So after learning phonographics within a year, I was reading at a college level.
Wow.
So I'm a total believer in what John does. I mean, and that's just that's his main focus, but that's just a small portion of what a Hero for Kids does. We work with first responders, EMTs, doctors, teachers, veterans to help them in any way that we can. John, this year at the school supply run, I think it was 1,000 backpacks that were given out, even in the middle of COVID. The year before that, we were closer to 1,500. COVID hadn't really arrived yet. Over last Christmas, when none of the cities or municipalities were doing toy drives, John and I and his wife Andrea and a bunch of other volunteers got together, and we had enough toys for 750 kids, I think it was, and we raised enough money to feed 77 families for Thanksgiving, and then another 40 or 50 for Christmas. So
it's amazing.
And these are all underprivileged families who really do need the help. That if it wasn't for a Hero for Kids, they would not have had gifts from Santa Claus under the tree.
It's amazing what Hero for Kids and the team and the volunteers and the board and the vendors and the sponsors and supporters do collectively for the community. It really makes a tremendous impact. And I think that for me, it's like the little engine that could all the time. You guys are always, John and Tony, always doing the right thing in the community. And those of us who care and know the reality of things truly appreciate that. I have to ask you, Tony, I just did and you're speaking, thank you for sharing that, by the way. You're sharing about why it was important to you. That's a phenomenal testimony. As a person, I know why you're involved. Why are you involved as a business owner? Obviously, personally, you love to give back to the community. You have a story. You understand where some of these kids are. You understand what the vets are going through. But from a business perspective, positive impact on your business, makes no impact. What's in it? What's in it for people who are sitting there going, "Yeah, I'm a business owner too, but I just don't have the time to give back."
You know, it's one of those things where you have to make the time. I'm not a rich guy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm a small business. We have 2 locations. We've got my wife's in Hunters Creek, which has a full staff, and then in my location right now it's just me. So instead of me paying somebody else, I take some of the funds that I make and I give it back into charity and back into the community, because not only could I not read, but both my parents had issues with substance abuse when I was a kid. And so because of that, I was very poor. My father made great money as a paper mill worker while I was growing up, but every Thursday night he would go to the bar and drink his paycheck away. So being one of those kids who Santa didn't get to visit on a couple Christmases, or had to literally go fish in the stream in the back to catch dinner, or go squirrel hunting as a kid to make sure my brother and I had food, who was a couple of years younger than me. It's very important for me to help the community. And to be quite honestly, if it has an impact on my business, a positive one, great. If not, that's okay too, because I'm just doing what I can for people. That's what it's all about. Yes, I do make a little bit of money, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not rich.
But you're giving back. I mean, I think people underestimate the value of planting seeds, doing the right thing, giving back to your community. And like you said, it's not about what you get in return, because if you're doing it for an ROI, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You're never going to be happy with anything that you do in the community. But if you are doing it because it's personal for you, it's important for you, it's part of your belief system, then I can promise you from experience that all of those seeds get planted and you get rewarded a millionfold over. So kudos to you. Thank you for sharing that story. I did not know that. And that's a very personal story. And it just gives light and spotlight to the great work that John and Andrea and the team and you as board members are doing in the community. So we have a gala coming up, and I want you to give us the 411. It's October 16th, a Hero for Kids gala. Tell us about it, John.
So yeah, October 16th, we're excited. We've got over 250 people registered for it right now, which is super exciting to me. You know, there's organizations out there right now canceling galas, and we're gonna be safe like we were last year. We had a gala right in the midst of COVID, and you know, it was safe. You know, we take the right precautions. We have the social distancing. We'll honor people's desires to mask or not mask, you know, and that's what it is. But, you know, October 16th, our theme this year is Carnival. We're going to have midway games, lots of prizes. We've got some amazing auction items. The guitar from Country Thunder signed by all the acts. We have the experience of that you'll flying an aircraft, and Tony did that, 2 years ago. He won the aircraft flight simulator.
I put my money where my mouth was.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And it's like all falling together. Brenda Torres from South Orlando Lifestyle designed the program for us. It's off to printing right now. Nadini Printing and Marketing is handling the printing for us, and voting for the heroes. And Tony is up for a vote also this year. He is in Veteran of the Year with two top challengers in there. So voting is out there, and the voting link's at aheroforkids.org. There's a link that says vote for a hero. Thanks to Solvera Tech, everything is being handled by them, all of the back end. So we don't touch it. I found out who the top 3 nominees were the day before we put the top 3 nominees out to vote from the community. So it's, unlike a lot of stuff, we're not picking the winners. Yes. Now we do decide the Lifetime Achievement Award winner, and we are going to decide this year we're doing a Founders Award. So I'm going to be presenting an award to someone who has done for a Hero for Kids amazing things over the years.
Love it.
So yeah, that's a new.
So you can get the information on the gala at aheroforkids.org, right? I've also tagged Tony and John in the post, and you can reach out to any of the 3 of us and we can get you to the right place. But Tony, I skipped over one thing. I think it's important. You are an insurance owner, which you talked about. Give us a little bit of, I always like to promote business. Why not? So tell us what you specialize in, your property and casualty. Give them a little background on that, and tell us what's going on in the insurance market in a quick little snippet.
All right. Well, I am an insurance broker. I work with about 200 different carriers on all P&C lines. I specialize personally in commercial lines, but I do have a department in my office, my other office, that does just home and personal auto. We do a little bit of healthcare during the Obamacare time, but really our focus and my major focus is educating the client, making sure they understand what they're getting, making sure that they're happy with what they're getting, because if you have a happy client and you treat them right, they're not going to go anywhere. Right. So it's all about making sure that they're happy. Now, in the area, Solo, Seminole, Orange, Lake, and Osceola counties, there's a lot more homeowners companies that are going to start pulling out, it appears to be. And they're already predicting for next year another premium increase on homeowners policies of 11 to 17%. Wow. Due to the rampant fraud. And a lot of it has to do with roofs. Several people have used insurance more like a warranty program instead of what it's actually for. Their roof is at its life's end, and they're like, oh, well, I've got hail damage. You got to replace the whole roof. And that's why legislature got together and created a new law that went into effect this year. And I think it was July 1st it went into effect, where if your roof is 10 years old, the moment it hits 10 years old, it is no longer replacement value. It is actual cash value. So
Wow.
to try to stem on the bleeding of the insurance companies so that we can actually keep them around.
It's just so important. That was that, and that a lot, and we could spend an entire show talking about that. A lot of that has to do with the consumer being led down that path by unscrupulous people in that industry. And so that created this nightmare of a scenario. But what I want to encourage people to do, if you haven't heard from your agent ever or in a very long time, if you have questions and want a policy reviewed, if you want to talk about your options wherever you're at, I would encourage you to go to the lakenona.greatflorida.com site or reach out to Tony. You should really look at your policy. I still look at them. I'm a recovering insurance agent. It's what I like to call myself. And people will send me stuff. And I'm like, do you know you have no replacement cost on this? Or do you know that you have a pool and you only have 100,000 in liability coverage?
Where you should have 300 to 500.
Absolutely. So I encourage you to bypass me and go straight to Tony. And that's one of the services that great insurance agents provide, is they really want people to have the right coverage for them. All right. So reach out to Tony, reach out to John, reach out to me, get involved in A Hero for Kids. Go to aheroforkids.org. Any information on the Gala or their events or what they do is
Can I plug two other sponsors we have here?
Yes, please do.
Signal Zero Supplies in St. Cloud is going to be donating an AR-15 for the live raffle or live auction. And then CP Diesel is going to be offering an oil change service and tire rotation as well for the silent auction.
Nice. I love it.
Just keeps coming.
Just keeps coming. Well, when you do the right thing and you do the good thing and you're helping out, I told you, it's planting the seeds. People come out of the woodwork. You guys are awesome. You know how much I love and appreciate you both. Thank you both for your service. I always have to say that because, God, that is so important. And we'll be back next week. But I want you to look at your insurance policy and give Tony a call. Take a look at aheroforkids.org. Get involved, give back. Even if you can't be at the Gala and you've got something that you'd like to donate, reach out to me, John, or Tony, and we will make sure it gets in that silent auction. Thank you, gentlemen. That was so great. Appreciate you. And we'll be back next week. Don't forget, go to aheroforkids.org.